Our story begins with a very beautiful girl behind bars. We learn that the girl's name is Zézal Louazben. At this time, one guy who is right in front of the main character and who is wearing a hood and a mask tells the girl that she should be punished. He also calls the girl a bloody witch. The girl apparently doesn't care about what he says, and at this point, she winds her hair around one finger while asking the guy if he brought her poison. Jezebel raised her voice at the guy and started asking him to try to kill her. Jezebel is a witch, indeed a witch, and apparently wants to commit suicide. The guy took the poison out of his pocket as the girl quickly grabbed it out of his hands. At this point, the guy didn't even realize what had happened, but the girl told him not to be selfish and to give her the poison. The girl started to drink all the poison from the vial, and at that moment, the guy, with a look of horror on his face, said that now he was convinced that the rumors he had heard about her being crazy were true. Apparently, the poison didn't even work on the girl because her eyes were glassy, and she said it tasted like strawberry shortcake. The guy snatched the vial out of the girl's hand and asked her if her head was all right, because the one who gave him the poison had told him that a drop of it would send any man to the grave. And after all that, the guy asked the girl why it didn't work on her. Apparently, this guy is very naive because he forgot that this girl is a witch, and apparently that's the reason why she didn't die. But the guy decided to try the poison on himself and drank one drop of poison. After the guy drank a drop of poison, he started bleeding and asked the girl how she did it. And before he died, the guy only managed to say the girl's name. The girl was left bewildered and stone-faced because she does not understand why the guy died from just one drop of poison, and she drank the entire bottle and remained unharmed. We go back a bit in the past, where a girl tells us that Zézal Louazben is the villain from the novel The Poison Apple. The girl says that this novel she read only because it was for work. She says it was overtime. The girl says the novel is about an other world where the main characters die at the end. She says that the minor character, the villain, dies first because she was defeated by the main character. The girl says that the cause of death of the villain was poisoned by a killer before her promotion, and on the way home after work, the protagonist had an accident and became the villain. The girl says that when she woke up, she was already behind bars, where a killer had arrived to send her to the other world. This killer took the girl by the head and started shoving this poison into her, telling her to open her mouth, enter. He says that the poison must get inside the girl. The girl said that this poison tasted like strawberry shortcake, and then the man became indignant and said that he was told that a drop of this poison would send any man to hell. The guy asked the girl why this poison didn't work on her, and at the same time said that maybe he was wrong, and after tasting this poison, he died. The girl says that after this incident, she was visited many times by killers. But the girl says that even their poison never worked on her, and sitting next to the dead guy, resting against the cage, the girl wondered why everyone decides to try the poison on themselves. She thought that the killers of this world are very stupid. Giselle says that at first she was hesitant to drink the poison, but in time she became very used to them, and in order that no one might force her to drink them, she began to drink them herself without too much trouble. As she continued to drink them, the girl realized that all the poisons had different tastes. After another poison, the girl smilingly said that this poison tasted like apple yogurt. But at the same time, this poison had a luscious smell. At first, the soldiers thought that it was she who killed the killers and called her a witch, but after realizing that the killers themselves were knocking out the poison, they left the girl alone. At one point, the girl even began to act out a scene and began to shout that she was not actually guilty, but they soldiers said that she was really a crazy witch. At first, Giselle thought that so many killers were sneaking around because of poor security, but then she found out that the guards were simply being bribed. After the girl realized all of this, she said that it was a disgusting world and asked herself how they could say that she was the villain here, since everyone else was. The girl was already in despair, and she realized that she only had to wait for her death. She hoped that the next assassin would bring a poison that would definitely work on her, and she would die sooner and get rid of this load. The girl voiced all her thoughts out loud, and at one point she heard someone laughing. At first, the girl didn't even realize what was going on and asked herself if it was an accidental side effect after all the poisons, and she said that apparently it was a very bad thing. After all this was said, the girl again heard some laughter, and at this point the girl even got very angry and asked where the laughter was coming from. She even thought that there was a ghost present. Finally, after a long laugh, the girl heard a man's voice telling her that there was no ghost, and then the girl thought that it must be another murderer, but she couldn't understand why he was laughing like that. After her musings, the girl voiced her thoughts out loud and told the guy that if he was one of the assassins, he would have to wait a bit, as she had recently drunk one poison. That guy started laughing again and tossed the girl one vial, said he didn't have much poison, and after that advised the girl to just drink it. The girl got very angry and yelled at the guy that she had just told him he should wait, and asked him what was the point of rushing if he wasn't going to work for her now anyway. The girl sniffed this vial and noticed that it had a very horrible odor. She at that point thought it had gone bad and accepted the fact that her death was right there. But then she thought about the fact that all this time she has not died from poisons and asked herself what could be the probability that she would die from this poison. Apparently, the girl does not want to die at all. Jezebel said that if the poison didn't work on her this time, she'd only die on the gallows, and she'd die here anyway. But then she thought, well, she didn't want to die like that, and she thought the killer had some powers. The girl with an angry look told the guy to listen to her well. She continued her thought and told him that she would only drink this poison if he did her one favor. The guy asked the girl what she wanted him to do, to which the girl replied that she would drink the poison. But if she didn't die, he should save her from this madhouse. Hearing these words, the guy asked the girl if she really wants to survive, but the girl told him that of course she wants to live, because everyone wants to live, and saying these words, the girl thought that in no case cannot just sit and wait for his death, and thought that she will then think about the future. But first, she needs to get out of this place. The guy asked Giselle if she really thinks she will survive after getting out of here, but the girl didn't even realize what he meant. The guy continues to tell his thought and tell the girl that her is known to everyone as a witch, and if she escapes from this place, she will be wanted. The guy says she has no family and no one to help her, and asks her if it's not easier for her to just die here and be done with it. From these words, the girl got even more angry and told the guy that he should not stir up the situation, because according to her, even if she is a witch, she is not the only villain in the world. The girl says that if someone thinks she's a wicked witch, then they need to live up to her status as a wicked witch. But the guy laughed a little and thought she was wrong. Ironically, the guy asked Giselle if she really thought she could do it, to which the girl replied that she was sure she could do it, and after her answer, the guy said that if he was interested, he would let her know. The girl began to wonder what was the name in the novel she'd read in a past life, and she seemed to remember the name Wayne Eyre. Then the guy said the name after her. The girl wondered if he knew the name, when suddenly a masked man appeared in front of her who told her that he knew a little of the name while calling her Giselle Luazben. This man told our heroine that he will help her die, as at this moment the girl noticed that his voice changed. The man has the keys to her castle, to which the girl reacted very violently and asked herself who even voluntarily give the keys to the killer, and she thought that the guards are very nasty. The man started approaching the girl, telling her that she was the enemy of her fiancé and warning her that she would die a painful death, after which he tried to kill her with a knife. The girl was very much frightened and told herself that if she didn't want to die, she should run away, because she thought dying from the knife would hurt more than from the poison. The girl drank that vial of poison and yelled at the guy she drank the poison from, and he promised to help her if she didn't die from it. And then she started sobbing a lot. The guy who talked to her earlier told her that he didn't promise, but only promised to think about it, and then he started to approach the girl, and with the help of magic destroyed the killer who wanted to harm the girl. The guy asked the girl if she thought the show was interesting, and at that moment the girl noticed that the guy used magic, and that afterwards the killer disappeared. A guy with charming looks finally introduced in front of a girl, and the girl asked him if he was an assassin, to which the guy replied that indeed he was a mercenary. After the guy appeared in front of the girl, he told her that he was really a murderer, but the girl looked at him in bewilderment and could not understand the reason that he decided to show her his face. The girl looked more closely at him and began to study his appearance. This guy seemed to her very even handsome, but suddenly he snapped the girl out of her thoughts, saying to Giselle that he was very happy to meet her and bowed to the girl. At the moment when the guy took the vial of poison from the floor, the girl decided that this guy also wanted to test the effects of poison on himself. Like all the others, the girl even thought that he was a fool, but from the look of the guy, seemed to her very handsome. Giselle looked at the guy with surprise and asked him if he wanted to test the effects of the poison on himself, to which the guy told her that he was absolutely sure that the poison worked. After these words, the girl could not be happy and thought that finally there was a killer who knows that the poison is real and that he does not need to try it on himself to be sure. The guy told the girl that at this point, it's not the most important thing, as it's already time for them to escape from here. And with a single movement of his hand, with magic, he made a magic circle. Giselle thought he was a murderer after all, and when she thought about it, she realized that she didn't know him at all. But she remembered that there was one man in the novel who could call date, and that was Wayne Eyre. With the help of magic, the guy and the girl, in a few seconds, found themselves in some unknown place for the girl and asked him where they are now, to which the guy asked the girl in response how she could not recognize this place. The girl seemed to think she was a bit stupid because she said that she couldn't even think that it was possible to escape with magic. She said that it was very disappointing, to which the guy asked the girl if by chance or not she wanted to go back to prison. The girl shut him up with one hand and said that she didn't want to be there anymore, but the guy told the girl that she was a witch who had escaped by dark magic, and that if she was caught, she would be executed in front of everyone. Jezebel didn't like the expression with which the guy told her that, because she asked herself how he could tell her all that, and yet smiling sweetly. But then she thought that it was really black magic, and that she remembered that in the novel only villains used it, and suddenly it was with its help that the girl was released from prison. The girl says that the last magician, Wayne Eyre, possessed this magic, and that in the novel, he gathered all the magicians and went against the protagonist. And then the girl gets to know that he is a magician, and not just a simple magician, but a magician of the Dark Mist. Dark Mist is an organization of dark magicians that Wayne ran. Turns out it was mentioned at the beginning of the novel as the Dark Clouds. And remembering that, Jezebel asked the guy if he was one of Wayne's minions by any chance. When these thoughts reached the girl, she asked herself how she could talk to Wayne's subordinate like that, and the girl was even afraid to think what would happen to her now, and couldn't understand how she should be now. The girl's brains began to boil, but Smile asked the guy what his name was, and the guy replied that his name was Renji. But the girl couldn't remember such a character from the novel. Giselle actually doubted if there was such a character in the novel at all, because according to her, he didn't look like any of the characters. After all, this guy has dark hair and red eyes. In the dungeon, the girl thought he was much more handsome, and looking at him, she wondered if he didn't stand out from the crowd too much. And yet the girl didn't remember any character named Renji, and for that reason, she thought he was a minor character. In the girl's head, all this still did not fit, because according to her, all the mages from the Dark Mist organization were notable characters, and Giselle had even met one of them. But it was possible that the Rangers did not even mention there then. After thinking about it all, she told herself that it was good for her that she hadn't met Wayne yet, and she thought it was time to settle the matter. The girl thought hard, and told the guy that in her opinion, he helped her because of the order of his master, to which the guy told her not to worry, because the head will not know about it. Renji looked at the girl and asked her if they were still standing there, but the girl asked him what the problem was, to which he replied that there was a tower nearby where the girl was imprisoned, and asked her if she wasn't afraid that they would soon go looking for her. At this point, the girl boiled with anger and asked herself why they were standing next to the prison tower, and then thought she could have moved further away from here. Jezebel, smiling like a sweet child, asked the boy why they shouldn't go for a walk, since they were already standing together, and having said these words, the girl thought that if she stayed alone, she would be caught, and that now, more than ever, she needed his help. The guy asked her why he should go out with her, and the girl told him that she had nothing, and if he decided to help her, he should help her to the end. And the guy said that he did not do volunteer work. He asked Jezebel what she would give him in return if he helped her, but the girl did not give an answer at once, but began to think a little. And even before they had time to form a thought, they heard the tower guards already saying her name, to which the guy reacted quite calmly, but only said that the search had begun. The guy told Jezebel that the best thing for her at this point was to wait until an acceptable price was put on her head. Apparently, the guy. This phrase was meant to manipulate the girl. After the guy told the girl these words, she immediately told him that she would give him valuable information, and the guy seemed interested in these words and began to wonder what kind of information the girl had. The girl's eyes lit up, and she told him that this information could help the guy get promoted. But it seems that the girl did not clear the guy with these words because he asked her what information she had and how it would help him get promoted. The girl started to explain to the guy that she knows that he is now part of the Dark Fog organization and that she knows the future of some people there. Having said these words, the girl thought that for her it would be very simple because she remembered the plot of the novel. So for her, this future is already happening now. The girl with emotions tells the guy that she can give one example to make him realize that she really knows something, and told him that she knows who will be the head of their gang. It seems this information, the guy didn't like it, as you can see the surprise in his eyes, and immediately he asked the girl if she thought she could bribe him with it. The girl told the guy that as they have in their course, she drank a lot of poison, but still alive, and with the help of it, she got magic power. But the guy somehow doubted these words and told the girl that he had never heard before that from poison can get magic. Jezebel seemed to be getting angry at the guy for not wanting to listen to her, but she told him that it wasn't really magic, but supernatural power. But the guy seemed to be mocking the girl and told her to say it again because he didn't understand anything at all. The girl, already shouting a bit, told him to listen to her and told him that she drank me, yes, and gained strange powers, and because of that, she knows more information than anyone else. It seems that at one moment, the girl did manage to interest the boy, for a few seconds he remained speechless and thinking about something. But suddenly, soldiers from the prison passed by them, talking among themselves, and one told the other to search better. Giselle was already starting to panic, and with wariness in her eyes, asked the guy if he wasn't going to leave her in this place. But suddenly, right away, the guy called her by name and told her that before her ban, he had used forbidden magic. It seems that these words were not clear to the girl, and she asked the guy what he meant. But the guy immediately answered her that he had sacrificed the man who worked with him. But you could see by the look in the girl's eyes that she was surprised at this answer, for she thought he was crazy, asking herself if it was not other people doing it. The guy told our protagonist that in black magic has its own rules, and that they are all individual, and he is the man who, because of the deception of the gesture, died, and now he came for her, in order to test his powers on her. Renji was telling the girl that he needed to find out if she was interested in the poison she drank recently, and saying those words, the guy got close enough to the girl. Seeing the actions of the guy and hearing these words, she felt bad. And the guy took the girl by the hand, said the phrase falling star. But these words were not clear to the girl, and she asked the guy what means falling star. The guy started to get closer and closer to the girl, while telling her that he wanted to summon a creature not of this world, but the research wasn't finished, and he didn't dare to risk much until now. The girl's expression changed a lot, and apparently the girl became afraid, and approaching a little more, the guy asked the girl who she was. The girl stood pressed against Renji, thinking that she could understand that she had been called into this world because of Giselle and Renji. But in the girl's opinion, these people should choose carefully who to call into this world. Giselle thinks they made a mistake picking her since she was tired, tortured, and out of touch, but the girl came to her senses from her thoughts, due to the guy asking her smiling if she was really equipped with such information. The guy, smiling, asked her how many important people will remain in the future, to which the girl reacted violently and told him that she can say for sure that in the future will remain her. And saying these words, the girl thought that she should be careful. At one point, the guy distanced himself from the girl and, smirking, told her that he thought the girl wanted to make a deal with him and asked her if she wanted to hear it from him specifically. He looks directly at the girl and asked her if there was any possibility that he might otherwise receive this information from her. But hearing these words, the girl was not delighted, for she asked herself for what such merits she should endure all this. The guy, with arrogance, asked Giselle if she knew the dungeon that the mages had built, to which the girl reacted violently and said that she didn't know, and she didn't want to know. Panicked, the girl thought that if he was a professional magician, he would have read her thoughts long ago, and then he would have caught the girl, and especially would not talk about it with her. The girl waved her hands and thought that she didn't want anything like that, and told him that she just wanted to keep herself alive, and started to ask him not to threaten her, and that they should end on a peaceful note. And he seemed to look at the girl like a cat at a chicken, and he said that was a very tempting answer, and that she wasn't a gyozel, because a real gyozel wasn't so slutty. It seems that these words hurt the girl a little, because she asked herself how she could say such things to people, but at the same time, she agreed that she is a wuss, but she also wants to live. The guy looked at the girl with positive attitude and suggested the girl to check her other qualities. Otherwise, he would really give her up for money, and asked the girl what she could be useful for. After the guy's words, the girl was confused, as she didn't even know what she could be useful for. She started mixing up words, but could only say that she could detect the taste of poison. For a second, the guy even thought about these words, but then, with a smile, he asked the girl how it could be useful. The girl replied that if their head was poisoned, she could become his taster of various poisons. The girl seemed to be very serious about what she said. The action of the story is transferred to another place, where the protagonist tells that the ranger decided not to abandon her, not to kill her, and did not even hand her over to the soldiers. But that's how she became an employee of some magic store. The girl did not seem at all pleased with these events, and seeing one doll, she asked herself where such a terrible doll could be here from, and whether she was not cursed by chance. After thinking for a bit, the girl seems to be scared, as she said that this doll is definitely for curses, and even this place is not a store that sells magical items, but just cursed items. We go back a little bit earlier, where the guy brought the girl to this very place, where the girl was very surprised that cursed things were being sold here, and asked him why she needed to go to this place. The girl was very angry and asked the guy if he had decided to curse her. Seeing that the poison didn't work on her, but the guy said that only things in this place are cursed and the place itself is completely clean. And with a smile on his face, told her that, to be honest, he didn't trust her yet, so she had to prove her loyalty to him first, so he could trust her with confidence. The guy tells Giselle that her job here is to distinguish between different kinds of poisons, and he also says that the girl has to serve her customers. After the guy's words, the girl was frightened and asked him if she really needed to taste the poisons to distinguish them, to which the guy told her that she had told him so herself earlier. He orders the girl to take the poisons and distinguish them. Remembering these moments, the girl thought that this man is terrible. Because she does not understand why she needs a career that starts from the bottom, it seems these events drove the girl to hysteria. It's been 10 days since she became a salesman. The girl says that at first Renji was watching her, but it's been 3 days since she's seen him at all, and she turned to the cursed doll and said that she was bored, and that she was the only one with her. And she called the doll Isabella. Being in her thoughts, the girl did not even notice that a man came into the store. He heard the girl named the Cursed Doll, began to laugh, and told the girl that she was really strange. This guy's name is Ten, and he's a delivery man in a store, and he also moonlights in different places, and he wants to become a full-fledged mage. But the girl thought about it and couldn't understand how he wants to become a mage while yearning for things, because according to her, it's completely different things. The girl told the guy after he said that she was not crazy, to which he told her that honestly, crazy people don't know what is crazy, and started laughing. Giselle got mad at the guy for calling her crazy and asked him if he really thought so, to which the guy laughingly told her that he didn't agree with her because he thought she was just plain crazy Giselle. Ten looked at the doll, calling Jezebel an incredible girl, and asked her how she became a saleswoman in this store. But the girl didn't even understand why he was praising her, thinking that, in her opinion, the Renji store had a good reputation. The guy brought some boxes and told the girl that he would leave these things right next to her, to which the girl thought that even if it is a store, the things are always only brought in, because recently there were many visitors, but no one bought anything. The girl says that it seems to her that sometimes visitors want to buy something but refuse, because according to the girl, we can understand that these people come to this place only to give her poison. Ten held out a vial of poison to the girl, and the girl immediately smelled it, and immediately told him that it was oxidurian, but it seems that the guy didn't understand this explanation at all, because he asked the girl what it was, to which the girl replied that it was a stinky fruit, and this poison smells just like that fruit. At that moment, the girl remembered that Renji had also said something similar, that no one could smell poison but her. But then Ten said that crazy Giselle was no surprise to him, but the girl didn't even want to answer him. The girl was sitting alone, and thought she hadn't seen Renji again today. She says she hasn't heard from him in 3 days, and then she thought it was her chance to escape. The girl said that if she stayed here, the ranger would make her a lab rat, but now she's alive and has a chance to survive, and she thought to take a few vials of poison with her as a paycheck for 10 days. The girl took everything she wanted and decided to escape. Opening the door, she said to herself that she would start the escape, and she hoped that no imprisonment magic would be needed, because she would just run away and no one would even notice it. The girl says that somehow she managed to escape, and suddenly she remembered that one of the buyers talked about a wagon, but she thinks that she would now at least a wagon. Suddenly on the way, the girl noticed the soldiers and could not understand why there are so many of them. The girl noticed the soldiers, who pasted pictures of the girl everywhere, and at that moment, the girl was very much frightened, noticing that the store is next to the soldier's post, and she thought that the magician who arranged it here completely lost his mind. The girl was in her thoughts and didn't even notice that behind her stood that magician, and he asked the girl why she was standing. And by the look of the girl, you can understand that she was very scared. The guy smirking tells the girl that if she goes a little further, they will gladly take her in. But surprisingly, the girl reacted very well, how much she began to laugh and tell him that they have not seen each other for a long time. At that moment, the girl thought that she had been caught and that she wondered why everything was going so smoothly, and it turned out that something was really wrong. But the guy told the girl that it was recent, since it had only been 3 days since their last meeting. Looking at the guy's look, Jezebel thought he was crazy, because she didn't understand why the guy was looking at her with such a scary look. But she laughed and told him that she would explain the misunderstanding, because the girl told him that she wasn't going to run away. But the guy started to mock the girl, saying that another option could be that the girl decided to surrender, and told her that she probably decided to check her death by hanging. Well, the girl immediately started to deny and said that she just wanted to take a walk. After all, she has a habit of walking 10,000 steps a day. The guy thought about the words to the girl, ironically asked her what kind of a walk, to which the girl replied that really a simple walk because and the body will stay healthier. But apparently the girl also mocked them. The guy doesn't think the girl's words are true at all, because he asked her if she took poison with her because of the walk in order to drown her thirst, and the guy was smiling. Well, the girl was afraid that the guy knows about the poison, and at the same time she couldn't understand how he knew, or he saw everything with his magic. Our heroine did not give up, and played her role to the end, telling him that indeed it is, because if she drinks a little poison, desire to work only increases in times. But the words of the girl does not seem to be true. The guy asked her if she had taken money because of that. He asked the girl if she needed money for the walk, to which the girl replied that of course she did, because she hadn't paid him for his help yet, and so she decided that she would buy him a present on the way back. It seems that the girl does not know how to lie at all, because the guy does not believe her at all, and told her that now he understood what she really is, and smiles at that. But the girl said that it is not so, but at the same time thought that it is very difficult with him. And on the face of the girl can see a smile, but inside, she is very angry. The girl doesn't know what to say, and tell him that because of her respect for him, she always calls him Mr. Renji. But the guy still doesn't believe the girl because he tells her that in prison, she called him a terrible man. The girl notices that she can no longer cope with the lies and offers the guy to forget their past and start with a clean slate. But the guy smiles and tells the girl that this past happened recently because from that moment has passed only 10 days. Our heroine still does not give up and plays to the end, telling the guy that it's been 10 days, and suddenly they notice that the soldiers are coming straight towards them, and the girl begins to panic. Jezebel doesn't know what to do or how to be, and suddenly she decides to hide under the guy's robe. But apparently he doesn't understand what the girl is doing. But the girl tells him that the soldiers are here, and she tries to hide and tells the guy to keep his head down. Suddenly the girl grabbed the guy by the robe and told him to pretend to kiss her, because according to the girl, if they run, it will be very suspicious, and she suggests that he pretend to be lovers and distract the soldiers. Apparently the guy didn't think it was a good idea. He thinks it's suspicious that the lovers are kissing in an alley, and he doesn't think that's how they'll avoid danger. A guy suddenly pushes a girl and she started to get indignant. She started to say something, but the guy pushed her against the wall, as suddenly the girl asked him why he was pushing her so suddenly. And at the same time, they looked into each other's eyes. The guy leaned over the girl and looked directly at her, while the girl could not understand what kind of situation was going on, and the guy asked her why she was so scared. After all she had said to pretend to be lovers. Giselle looked towards the soldiers and said that she really needed to pretend to avoid the soldiers. But the girl didn't take into account the fact that if she looked directly in their direction, they might notice her. And realizing this, she was very scared. The girl thought that one soldier looked directly into her eyes, and at that moment started to panic, thinking that he had noticed her, and tried to explain to the guy that if he pressed her against her, he should hug her harder, or at least lean in for a pretend kiss. But the guy couldn't understand why the girl started to panic like that. While the girl told him that one of the soldiers was looking right at her, and suddenly she notices that they passed by. But at the same time, the girl couldn't understand why they passed by if they looked right at her. She even thought that they didn't recognize her. Giselle asked the guy why the soldiers passed by, while the guy told her that they didn't see them, and turned his back to the girl, heading somewhere. But the girl tried to stop him because she thought that if they went that way, they would definitely see them. The guy started to explain to her that up to a certain point they can't see them because to them that place looks like a normal wall, because that's where the illusion spell is. The girl remained in a stupor and remembered that in the novel it was said that where magic was used, there is a magic circle, and black magic leaves dark traces. And according to her, that's how the main characters tracked Wayne, and in the climax, they defeated him. The girl thought that her memory was failing her, but then she thought that she remembered everything correctly, and asked Rengia why the soldiers didn't notice anything if it was magic, to which the guy answered that it was natural, because he was much stronger than she thought. The girl fell to her knees and started sobbing, telling the guy that he should have told her right away. But Renji told the girl that she looked really funny, and he didn't want to tell her. Then the girl looked at him and told him that he was really terrible. But the guy told the girl that, if that's the case, they should go to the store and continue there. At that moment, the girl remembered that she had wanted to run away and had been caught. But she remained in a stupor and could not understand what he meant about going on with something. The girl, with enthusiasm, asked the guy if he would torture her, to which the guy replied that if she did not mind, he could not give her such pleasure, and then continued and said that even in this place can do it, and smiled sweetly. The girl as a soldier informed the boy that today a new poison had arrived in the store, and therefore his faithful employee would return to work on the new products. And she put one hand to her head like a soldier and held the other in her fist. Renji looked at the girl and laughed. He thought she was cute. Apparently, he was starting to like this girl. Who knows? Maybe something will happen between them. It was already evening, and Renji and Jezebel were in the store. The girl brought the guy some papers and told him that on them she had written all the flavors of all the poisons she had tasted. The guy started to look at the chart that the girl drew, and he thought it was a very handy chart and also easy to read. But the guy thought that if Vidro, the guy's assistant, found out about these abilities, he would immediately come to the store. The girl started gesturing with her hands and told the guy that all poisons tasted like fruit, and she mentioned that she was not lying in any way. But the guy at this time thought that most likely he wanted to test Giselle's skills, and that's why he used poison. Jezebel told the guy that what changes the taste and effect of poison is the amount of sugar, and seeing that the guy had no reaction, she got angry and thought she was waiting for the guy to react to the answer she got. The guy, at the same time smiling, thought about the fact that he did not want to get work from her and listen to these incomprehensible words. He could not understand what caused here Jezal Luazben, because in his opinion, the girl at a little pain immediately whines, but at the same time is not afraid to drink poison. She does not want to expose themselves to danger, but ready to work with villains. Apparently, the guy admires this girl because he thinks she has a very strange and at the same time contradictory nature. And he asked himself what kind of creature is inside this body. After the guy thought about all this, suddenly he decided to ask the girl what her name was. But the girl froze with a stone face and didn't even realize what he meant. A guy asks a girl what her real name is. He tells the girl that she hasn't even introduced herself before, but the girl is sure. She says her name is Zeyzal Luazben. Renji thinks about what the girl says is very believable, but still he realizes that she's not going to talk about herself real. But for the guy, some things seem very suspicious, because he says that she has blonde hair, clear eyes, and she's exactly Giselle Lasben. The guy thinks that because of her character and manner of speech, she seems like a different person. In his opinion, the biggest contradiction is what she demands of people. He says she doesn't even try to resemble the real Jezebel. The guy looked at the girl and told her that she was really Giselle. But the girl seems... His reaction was incomprehensible, and she got a little angry because she said, "A business from the store." And the guy did not listen to her at all. The girl asks the guy if he believes her and tells him that she's already prepared a poison report for him, to which the guy tells the girl that he's got it all figured out and that he's already aware of her poison powers. When she heard the guy's answer, the girl was furious and asked him what was the reason he doubted her. She said she was a harmless person, but the guy told the girl he didn't trust anyone and he saw her trying to escape. The girl turned her face away from the guy and laughed a little, but the guy continued his thought and told her that she stole the money, to which the girl smilingly told him that it was not an escape, but just a walk. And about the money, the girl said that everything and her husband explained, and besides, it is part of her salary. Renji thought about it, and the girl, seeing that the guy was silent, got very angry and asked him if he was not going to pay her salary. And even more angry, she told him that up to this point, she had been working as a sweat, and he was obliged to pay her for her labor, and especially the girl said that she was risking her life by drinking poison. Guy, looking at the antics of the girl, smiled and thought that she is very funny and funny. He thinks that the real Giselle Luazben would never do such a thing. The guy says that the magicians buy chickens to test the curse on them and later turn their room into a chicken coop because they're not too cute to kill, and he thinks he understands them perfectly now. The guy started to do something magical, but the girl was very much afraid and immediately told him that since she is now on probation, she agrees to unpaid work. Children, according to the girl, he gave her a bed and an IDU. But the guy started laughing and told her that he didn't understand anything she was saying, but using his magic, he created 2 cute little butterflies, and the girl thought it was very pretty and asked him if they were real butterflies. Renji told the girl that these are his familiars, and also they will be watching, or who will watch over her always, and the girl in return asked the guy if these butterflies will now watch over her and asked him if they can talk. The guy thought that, not sure how correctly she understood the word watchers, and told Giselle that they only knew how to talk to him, but the girl got upset and said that was too bad because she wanted to talk to them too. The butterflies were near the girl, and one of them sat on her finger, and the girl was very happy and said that they have very beautiful wings. But the guy interrupted the idol of the girl, saying that red butterflies are poisonous. Giselle tells Renju that it is not very scary for her because according to her, she will not die anyway. But the guy interrupts her and says that white butterflies paralyze. But it seems that the girl, even this, did not provoke fear because she was very much surprised and said that she was very interested. The guy watched the girl excited about the butterflies like a little kid, and once again he's convinced that she really is a cutie, but he says that a minute ago from excitement she didn't find instead of herself, but now she looks very interested. Renji remembered that she has another ability, and this ability is that she knows the future of important people, but the guy could not understand whose future the girl knows, and by what criteria she determines important people, and also where Wayne Eyre came from. The guy with a serious face asked the girl what she knew about Wayne and why she wanted to work for him, to which the girl replied that of all the villains he was the strongest, but it seems that the guy did not agree. The girl asked the guy to, when meeting with the head, be sure to tell him everything she had told him before. Giselle says she would be very grateful to him if he would help her get a job with him. Renji made a thoughtful look, but at that moment he thought that he was sick of the girl's head and asked the girl what he should do about the fact that she called him a villain, to which the girl replied that he should not say that. He smilingly asked the girl if she really wanted to work for Wayne, and the girl replied that of course she wanted to, because she liked the tail of a dragon better than the head of a snake, and she enthusiastically told the guy that it would be great to work for such a promising man. Renji told Giselle that she had said earlier that she could help with poison identification for the chapter, but doesn't see how she's going to help him figure out poisons if she's the only one who can tell the difference in tastes. Giselle tells him that she is going to taste every meal he has before the meal as a food taster, and she thinks that does sound strange, but anyway she asks him if he could arrange a meeting with the head of Wayne Eyre. At first, the guy looked at the girl with a serious face, then he smiled and said he couldn't do it. Apparently, there's something unclean lurking. The girl heard that the 10 denied her request, was very angry, and asked him why he did not want to do it for her, to which the guy answered the same question, asking her if she would always be with the head of the row if he would give her food. Jezebel started to deny it and said she'd only taste the food for poison, but the guy told her she'd also take breaks for tea and desserts, and there's always time for a snack. The girl agreed with him, but at the same time asked herself what he was getting at. The guy told her that it meant that she and the gentleman would be together all day, to which the girl was indignant and asked him what could be wrong with that. Ten looked at the girl with a serious look and confidently told her that he was against it, but the girl couldn't understand him and asked why he was against it. But the guy turned away from her and told her that she would also look after the store and the salary would correspond to the work. Giselle's eyes lit up when she heard about the salary, but the guy interrupted the girl's joy and said that it would only be when she became a permanent employee, to which the girl did not react very well. Ten was about to go when suddenly the girl stopped him, but the guy could not understand what was the matter, and the girl at the same time came up to him and looked at him with an evil look. At the same time, the boy also looked at her with a serious look and thought her mood had changed and asked himself if she was up to something, for he thought she was acting crazy, for he thought the girl wanted to get close to Wayne Eyre in order to kill him. The guy didn't know what to expect, and with magic he tried to do something, but the girl interrupted him and told him that since ancient times, between an employee and his boss concluded labor contracts, and after that, the law on discrimination against women came out. Jezebel, apparently she was very serious, and pointed her finger at him and told him that the probationary period and the salary required a clear deadline, but the guy remained in a stupor and just listened to her. But the girl just looked at the guy like a fool, because she didn't understand why he was laughing, and he thought that Jezel was the best thing he had ever met in his life, and that's why he should keep her close and watch her. But the girl just looked at the guy like a fool because she didn't understand why he was laughing. After a while, Giselle returned from her walk, and as she opened the door, she thought that as soon as Renji put his familiars in, she started seeing him less often, and because of that, she had more free time and could sometimes walk through some of the alleys. She smiled at the butterflies as she entered the store, thinking that of course she realized that they were being followed, but she didn't mind at all because the butterflies were very beautiful, and it was a great joy for her to walk with them and let Renji know that she wouldn't run away. The girl was minding her own business when suddenly the front door of the store opened and Ten walked in and cheerfully greeted the crazy Giselle, for that's what he calls her. But even though the guy called the girl crazy, she cheerfully greeted him back. The girl is happy and with self-confidence. Told Ten that now she is not a temporary employee, but a probationary employee, and that's why he can now call her trainee Giselle, to which the guy responded very well, but at the same time told her that she is getting crazier every day. The girl smiled sweetly, but at the same time she thought that he could say whatever he wanted to say, because she already had an official contract, and now everything was clearly defined, and she could be sure that Renji would not betray her to the authorities, as well as use her as a material for research. The girl thinks that this labor contract is proof that she will survive and has full immunity, but the girl had to snap out of her thoughts since Ten told her he wanted to buy the damn doll, to which the girl smilingly told him that he'd better take it himself. The guy held the doll with 2 fingers because he thought that if he touched it, he would be cursed immediately. But the girl heard his words, thought that you seem to be still very green, and told him that only items are sold here, and the place itself is not cursed. And the guy told the girl that now he understood everything, gave her the money, and thanked her and wished her a good day. After the girls sold the doll, she was very sad, for she thought that if Isabel had gone, she would be very lonely. But at the same second, the butterflies came near her, and she cheered up at once, for she thought she had them now. The girl looks at them innocently and says that no matter how much she looks at them, they're still very beautiful. But suddenly she thinks about the fact that when the guy created them, he had dark mud on his fingertips. The girl remembered that it was the same in the prison, but at the same time, butterflies looks with glitter, and asked herself if his power must be bright, because of his appearance is also bright. Suddenly the door opens and a guy enters, but at first glance the girl thought it was a new visitor. She started to say, "Welcome" to him, but he interrupted her and slammed his hand on the table and started to say something to her. He called the girl a witch and asked her if she was the one picked up by Mr. Renji, but the girl did not understand what he meant and wanted to say something to him. But the fellow interrupted her again and asked her if she had made the Lord take her away and put her in this store. The girl smilingly started to calm him down, telling him that she didn't understand what he meant, but she was given this job here by Mr. Renji. But the guy didn't agree with the girl and told her that it was impossible because this place was originally his, and at the same time the guy started to cry, and he looked like a crazy person. At this point, the girl couldn't believe that there was already a man assigned to this place before her and asked herself what this store even does. But the guy yelled at the girl, saying he had to see the gentleman, and asked her where he was. Giselle told the guy that the head does what he wants, and he's been very busy lately, so she advised him to leave his contacts to get in touch with him as soon as the head arrives. The guy started to get personal and asked the girl who would believe her and told her that she was a suicide bomber, but apparently the girl was getting angry. But still smiling, she told him that if he wanted, he could call her an escaped convict. But she was not a suicide bomber because she didn't want to die. At their shout, Ten came running and asked Ziesel if something had happened. He told her that he had heard the noise and that's why he came to her at once, but the guy seeing Ten got very angry, and leaving the store told the girl that he would come back and deal with her. But the girl remained stone-faced and couldn't understand what had just happened. Our heroine sat on a chair and looked at the people who passed by her. She thought that a spell was cast on the alley, and so she could watch people from this place. The girl says that she can't walk around the city because of her wanted photo, but she doesn't want to stay in the store all day, and asked herself if it's okay for her to stay in the store and work there. The girl says that if she thinks about the fact that Joselle was a minor character in the novel, would never meet the main characters from the novel, because as she says, nothing will introduce her to Wayne, and therefore she is unlikely to become a member of the dark organization. The girl seems to be struggling with her thoughts, for she does not know if it is safe for her to stay in the store, for at any moment, the fellow may come again. She says she will ask the ranger to find her a doll, like Isabel, to ward off all the unclean ones. Suddenly, the butterflies flew to the girl, and as if they wanted to tell her something. And at that time, the girl started to ask what happened, and if they wanted to tell her something. The girl seemed to realize what they were trying to tell her, and asked them if she was wrong to come to this place and if she should leave. But then she said that Renji had told her that no one would see her here. The girl looked more closely around and noticed the guards discussing something with their chief, and we see that the man is looking directly at the alley where the girl was standing. The girl looked closely at him and was surprised that he was very tall, and asked herself if he was the commander of the soldiers, because the girl noticed that he was quite a stately man, and he had blonde hair and very bright green eyes. The girl thought that this man looked like a knight from a novel, and it seemed to her that he looked like a Dylan from The Poison Apple. And looking at him more closely, the girl realized that he was indeed a Dylan, and she started to ask herself what this man could be doing here and stand up from the chair. The girl realized that they had met eyes and started to panic, and in doing so took the chair and started to run. Jezebel ran very fast and realized that illusion magic didn't work on Dylan because Dylan can see through everything and no magic works on him. The girl quickly ran into the store and closed all the locks after herself, asking herself why this man appeared in this village. For as we understand in the original, after the execution of Giselle, the boy returns to his place. The girl thought that the story did not follow the original plot, and if Dylan caught her, he would kill her immediately. She was afraid because she thought that then she would be executed for sure, and ordered the butterfly to urgently call her master. The girl became very scared and hid behind the table, but at that very second, there was a knock on the door, and after a short knock, the one who stood behind the door left. But the girl thought that Dylan would not leave this village until she died. She already thought that this guy will spend the rest of his life looking for her, but then she began to reassure herself by saying that it's just her guess, because since she says she's just a minor villain, so it's unlikely that he'll be so persistent in looking for her. The girl calmed down a little as she suddenly remembered that Jezebel had threatened the main character's life, and now she would definitely die. But still, she couldn't understand what Dylan was doing in this place. But still, she tried to calm herself down, saying that maybe she was wrong. Jezebel thought she was scared for nothing and ran away from the place, and pulling herself together, opened the door trying to get out, when suddenly she met the customer who had come into the store earlier. He asked the girl why the door was locked and the windows were closed, to which the girl replied that it was necessary, and asked him why he was here, because she had already told him everything last time, and added that she had also signed a contract to work in this store. The boy seemed to calm down from that time and told her that he had already understood everything and was only here to tell Mr. Renji something, and asked the girl where he was now. The girl was surprised that he cooled down so quickly and told him that she did not know where the master was now, and added that she herself would like to know where the master was. She said she had not seen him in this place for a long time. Our heroine, looking in the store a little, thought that he has not forgotten about her because he sends her groceries. But also she does not understand where he may be now. The guy told the girl that if the gentleman wasn't here, she'd have to get the goods herself. He said the goods were in a cart and it was too big to drive up here. Giselle was surprised at this, and the guy said that the road was covered by this cart, and so it was urgent to pick up the goods. But the girl thought she didn't want to leave the store now and asked him if she could even pick up the goods alone. The guy didn't answer the girl's question and said that he had little time, so she should hurry up and adds that if the girl continues to resist, he will tell the gentleman that she is not doing her job properly. After hearing this, the girl remembered that she was on probation, so she had to do her job right away, so she took her cloak and thought she would go and come back. Walking towards the road, the girl noticed that the cart is really, really big and is covering the road. Just like the guy said, she says you can't even go through the alley, and then noticed that there aren't even any soldiers. They reached the cart together, and the guy told the girl that he would take the goods outside, and the girl should get inside and give him the goods. But the girl did not like it at all and asked him why she should get inside. After all, the delivery man himself should deliver the goods in his hands. The guy told the girl that she would not be able to accept him, and if she broke something, she would have to take responsibility for herself. Well, the girl did not want to get in there at all because she felt something wrong. The girl climbed inside and saw a lot of boxes and asked the guy which one to take, and the guy said that she had to take lower, the one standing next to her. Giselle told him that he had to mark these crates, and touching one crate asked him if she needed to pick this one up, as suddenly Dylan appeared behind the girl and put a sword to the girl's head. The girl looked back and saw him and couldn't believe that the guy had done that to her. And at the same time, the guy told Dylan that he had to pay him for helping him catch the girl, to which Dylan told him that since he had helped catch the bad guy, they would look into it. The guy turned around and started to sing along to some song, but the girl couldn't believe that this creep had sold her out. And at the same moment, Dylan ordered his assistants that they had to go. The carriage moved from the place, and the girl fell among all the crates. Then she told the guy that there was some misunderstanding and asked him to lower his sword. But the guy brought it even closer to her. The girl stopped him and ordered him to stay away, asking him if it was even okay to bully people like that, to which the guy started laughing. Since he didn't think this girl was a human being, he looked at her angrily and angrily asked her if she even thought she was an innocent person. The girl was very much frightened and told him that she had often heard that it looked like some kind of Jezebel, but that there was a mistake. At this point, the girl thought that it was better to pretend that she did not understand anything than to remain without a head. Dylan didn't even pay attention to the girl's words, and at that moment the girl thought that her plan had failed and asked the guy where they were going. Still, she had hope that she would survive. The guy notices that the girl has increased black magic. He tells the girl that he knows that she has taken this magic, but it seems that the girl is not even aware of it, probably at the moment when in the dungeon the girl thought that she drank poison from Renji's hands. In fact, it was not poison, but black magic. The girl thought this guy was out of his mind because she thought he was talking nonsense and told him that she would not use black magic because she was a person with a light soul and told him that she was not the person he was looking for. Dylan couldn't understand what the girl was talking about, so he asked her if it was a side effect of the tinctures or if she was possessed by the devil, and then said it didn't matter now because she was going to die soon. The girl was angry and thought that he had a split personality because she thought that he seemed to be a very kind, nice main character, but in fact, he was a psychotic. Giselle asked him in a frightened voice if he was going to be executed now, to which the guy replied that he would first destroy the devil inside her, but the girl got angry and yelled at him that she didn't understand what kind of nonsense he was talking about the devil. The girl thought a little and remembered that there was something like that in the poison apple. She says that then executed the magician who made a contract with the devil, and he was burned with white magic, which is the opposite of black magic. The main character yelled at the guy and told him that there is no devil inside her, and in fact, the devil is him. But it seems the guy didn't even realize what she meant, and the girl continued her thought and told him to ask any man about it. Jezebel told him that innocent people don't threaten citizens, but the devil threatens to kill an innocent man, at which point Dylan became even more angry and ordered the girl to shut up. But it seems that these words did not stop the girl, and she shouted to him that he did not see any essence and asked him, "What kind of power is it that cannot distinguish between a not guilty man and a criminal?" It seems that the protagonist wanted to say something else, but suddenly the guy grabbed her by the neck and started choking her, while asking her how she knew about his abilities. He ordered the girl to answer and asked her who told her about his power, and the girl at that moment, calling him a bastard, thought she couldn't answer if he was strangling her. The girl could not believe that she would die like that. But then she thought that if she died, she would become a ghost and torment him forever, and said that he was a devilish creature. Suddenly, there were butterflies guarding the girl, and the guy reacted and noticed they were spreading some pollen, and then he stopped strangling the girl. He ran to the butterflies, saying it was an interesting trick, but still killed them and told the girl that she was finished, calling her Giselle Luazben. From nowhere, the guy was seized by black magic, and most likely he did not even expect it. The guy tried to fight it with all his strength, but he did not succeed. And in one end, the magic completely enveloped him and threw him to the street. Renji suddenly appeared behind the girl and told the girl that if she stood like that, she would fall. But the girl didn't even expect him to show up to save her, and immediately told him that she wasn't trying to run away. Ranji told the girl that he knows what happened here, but the girl started to justify herself and said that she didn't kill the butterflies either, to which the guy said that he knows that too. They were looking into each other's eyes when suddenly the guy told the girl that she had something to tell him. But it seems that the girl didn't even understand what he meant, and most likely she was still scared from what had happened recently. The girl could not understand what she had to say, and then she apologized for leaving the store unattended, and then she thought a little more and thanked him for saving her again, but the guy just looked at her and smiled sweetly. The girl tells him that even before he came, the butterflies saved her, so she should thank them first. But the guy told her that they are his familiars, and the girl asked him, did he order them to protect her, to which the guy replied that it's not really true. Giselle thought her head was a terrible person. She thought the butterflies had ended up helping her themselves, and yet she should thank them. Renji looked at her and said that he knew what she was thinking, and asked her if she knew how hard it had been for him to get to her. But the girl didn't seem to like those words, and ironically thanked him for coming to her. And now she was indebted to him again. Suddenly, the butterflies started flying again, and the girl was surprised that if the butterflies are familiars, if you cut them with a sword, they will still survive. And immediately the guy asked her how she thought before. He says he attached them to the girl as watchers, and she killed them. The girl was upset and angry at the same time, and told him that it wasn't her who killed them, but Dylan, and then asked him if the butterflies were okay. But then thought that looking at his attitude towards them, she might realize that they were okay. The girl thought that if the head immediately appeared in front of her after the butterflies were killed, it meant that he was getting some kind of signal from them, and that the girl wouldn't die anyway. Giselle asked Renji if Dylan died, for she noticed he was sucked into the circle, but she asked herself what would happen to Roman if the main characters died. Renji asked the girl if she wanted him to strangle her again, but the girl said no way, because he was an evil man, and she thought that with his magic, he would kill her. The guy mocked the girl, told her she was talking like she was talking about someone else, but he went on to say that he had heard before that she was worried when Dylan got hurt because she loved him so much. When the girl heard these words, she was very angry and noticed that he made a cute face and seems to be mocking her again. She thinks that he knows that she is not the real Giselle Luazben and still continues to talk nonsense. She even thought that he does it on purpose. She began to dig into her memories to remember what had happened between Jezebel and Dylan, and remembered that she had been irresponsibly in love with him, as if obsessed with loving him. But she couldn't understand why that was so. It seems that the girl wanted revenge on the guy and started playing some kind of role and calling him dear, and started saying that she had some kind of nightmare. And that's why she can't stand that he attacked her and almost killed her. The guy's expression changed and turned around and told her that it was time to go, but the girl was upset and didn't understand why he turned around like that, and the guy started to do something else with his magic. Renji's magic made them move quickly, and the girl at that moment thought that Renji's magic was incredible, and she couldn't even imagine how strong Wayne was if Renji was that strong. The girl couldn't understand how someone so strong died from a poisonous snake, but she was snapped out of her thoughts when she saw her bottlers. She thought she wouldn't see her bottlers again. The girl sat down, and Renji told her that there was no time to chill because they had to move the store. But the girl didn't understand what he said at first, so she told him that she understood, and then she realized that he told her to move the store. Giselle thought he wasn't serious now because this all seemed very strange to her. But the guy told her that the location of the store had been revealed, and so they should leave the place. The girl thought that the ranger is sure that Dylan is alive, although it seems to her that the main character cannot die, and surely he will recover and come back for the girl, because according to her, even if he was seriously injured, it will not stop him. At first, the girl was afraid to touch the cursed things, but then she started to pack it all up. She told the guy that she would pack it up for now, but she didn't know where to move it all. And at that moment, she asked herself what he was doing. The guy told the girl that he would move everything to another place, but the girl didn't even know it was possible, and asked him if the bottles wouldn't break on the way, and if she could tighten them up with something, because she had put a lot of effort into them. The guy told the girl that then she should put away anything that might break, but the girl told him that she remembered that she didn't just follow her darling, but she was tricked because one guy had betrayed her. Renji told the girl he was aware of all this, but the girl asked him how he knew, but the guy told the girl it was butterflies. He was told, and he immediately recognized the guy. The girl was angry when she realized that he knew everything and did not say anything, but just watched until he strangled her. But the guy, smiling, asked the girl if she wondered what had become of him, to which the girl replied that of course she was not interested. Renji invited the girl to his place, but the girl told him that she would not go because she has a weak psyche. But the guy still insisted and told her that he will not show her anything, but just want her to come to him. At one point, the girl did approach him, and the guy noticed that she had a bruise on her neck, but the girl said she was not burned, and a bruise is normal. The guy was concerned and asked the girl if she was going to be burned. Our girl said of course not, but he said something about the devil, though she didn't understand anything because she was a human being and he was the devil himself. Renji asked her how he was the devil, but the girl told him that he was choking her and that she even thought he was crazy, to which the guy just smiled. Suddenly, the girl remembered that the real Giselle loves Dylan and said to herself that she was stupid. But the guy told her that if she said that about him, then her heart wasn't broken because he was hurt, to which the girl replied that she thought it was. Then the guy told her not to call him darling anymore, and the girl agreed. But at the same time, she thought that she was burned, because in the novel Wayne Eyre, mysterious person and the second main character, and that I can definitely not like the fact that the villain has tender feelings for his nemesis. He tells Giselle that even if his leg is broken, he will still gather soldiers and attack them, and so they need to move out of this place as soon as possible, and tells the girl that he will give her a rest after the move. The girl was left speechless and surprised that he was worried about her, and the guy told her to pack her things because he would create a magic circle. And at that moment, the girl thought that he was definitely worried about her. The guy told the girl he was done and called the girl over to him. The girl came over, and he took her hand and hugged her. Apparently, the girl was embarrassed, and the guy told her they were leaving. Dear friends, and if you want to see the next part of this video, then be sure to subscribe to the channel and do not forget to click on the bell to not miss new videos. Also, do not forget that the second part will be released when under this video will accumulate 40,000 views or 5,000 likes.